boys and girls, and welcome to our next math lesson. Now this week we started a new unit all about time, and we're going to expand our topic today to start talking about clocks. Now, last lesson we talked about what a second was, what a minute was, and an hour. Now we're going to start using and learning all about analog clocks, which are the clocks that are nice big circles and they have hands on them to tell us the time. There's also digital clocks that show the time just with numbers written out for us. So we're going to start learning all about analog clocks, and the first thing I want to talk about are what are some features that are on this clock. Now I noticed that around the outside there are numbers from 1 all the way until 12. I also noticed that there are 2 hands, and one of those hands is longer than the other. Our long hand here, that is a pink-red color, that is called the minute hand. That tells us how many minutes have gone by. We know a minute is a shorter amount of time. The short hand here is called the hour hand. That tells us how many hours have gone by. Today we're going to use this clock to talk about learning to tell time just with our hour times, when it's 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock and no minutes have gone by. So when this happens on a clock, when it's o'clock times, our minute hand will always point up to the 12. It's going to always point right up to the top. That means that 0 minutes have gone by. The hour hand will point to the number for what time it is. So right now, my clock, the big hand is pointing at the 12, and the little hand is pointing at the 3. This means that the clock is showing us that it is 3 o'clock. Now, if I move the hour hand somewhere else, my time can change. My minute hand is still pointing up to the 12, but my hour hand is now pointing down to a new number. This means that it is 5 o'clock. Now let's do one more together and then maybe we can have a little bit of fun with it. I'm going to move the hand over here. The minute hand has not changed. It's still pointing up at the 12. The hour hand or the little hand is pointing at the 7. This means that the time is showing 7 o'clock. Now I'm going to move it a few different places, and at home, if you can figure out the time, I want you to yell it out, okay? So I'm going to move the hour hand here. What time do you think the clock is showing now? Can you yell it out? This is showing 1 o'clock. Let's try another one. What time do you think this is showing? Yell it out. It is 10 o'clock. The small hand is pointing at the 10. Now I have a really tricky one for you. Are you ready for a challenge? Okay. I'm going to point the hour hand or the small hand at the same place as the minute hand. If both hands are pointing up here to the 12, what time do you think it is? This one looks tricky, but the hour hand is pointing right up to the 12. This means that that time is 12 o'clock. All right, now we've done quite a few together. I think that you're ready to try this out on your own. Attached to this lesson, there is a link to a game on ABC app, and it's going to have you make o'clock times on the clock on their game. Now, in the instructions on this assignment, there's a few buttons that you need help to push, so maybe if you could do it yourself or ask a family member to help. We want to make sure that we are doing an analog clock, and we do just the first level. After the first level, it goes off of o'clock times and gets a little bit harder that we're going to do on our next lesson. All right, boys and girls, go check the game out, try out our o'clock times, and have fun.